Okay, so yeah, I'm Mikayla. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date is 2/13/22, so a little over a year and a half. Um, and I got sober, yeah, February 13th. That's the day before my birthday. So I've been cursed since birth as a Valentine baby. Um, and I got into the program like most people. I knew I had a problem, but I didn't know that it was alcohol. Um, I I had grown up. I was kind of like, an outcast, but I was a cool outcast where I floated from group to group and like clique to clique in middle school and high school, thinking that everybody liked me, but I always kept them at an arm's length for some reason. Um, and that just became like my MO for the longest time. And it just seemed like uh something funny. Like I was so naive. I thought everybody got alcohol poisoning. I just thought it was a rite of passage. And so like there were just things like that that just didn't click with me, that I was drinking differently than a lot of other people my age. I was, by the time I was 15, I was hanging out with college students and like people in bands and stuff, just trying to get drunk every night. I was not showing up to school. I stopped doing sports. I stopped hanging out with like the good kids and stuff. It's just kind of like, watching a coming to age movie is kind of how my life started. I was already like wrecking my parents' cars and they were still letting me drive. It was just, I don't know, insane how I got by with a lot of stuff. But the last year of my drinking, things just progressively got worse. I was drunk driving every day, not having a problem with it. That was just like my time of peace, as morbid as that is. And I just remember feeling it was kind of like I had lost all my friends and I just didn't really talk to any of my family anymore. And I felt lonely all the time. Um, but still like not thinking I had a problem. I just kind of come to terms with uh this was my life and I just have to work with it, you know. And I did, like, I tried, things in the book. They talk about trying different styles of drinking. I switched from just drinking beer to I was drinking vodka because it was less calories, and then I switched to seltzers because like I could drink more and like not get as tired fast. Um, and then I started drinking when I woke up, and again, just not noticing anything. But then um one day, just like it was just kind of this idea that I had. I didn't grow up with anybody in AA. I never heard of it. Like the only thing I knew about AA was that that it was a bunch of people in a room who just complained about their life. Like that's what I thought it was. um and just one day, just things kind of hit me all at once. And not having that solution, I just thought like I had no other way out. And so I tried to kill myself. And fortunately, I woke up in a hospital. Bunch of people surrounding me, and this was like during COVID and stuff. And so one person was loud, and it was my mom there. And I was already making jokes. Like I covered everything up with humor. I was already making jokes about like, man, that this last breakup really did a number on me, and just trying like, and I remember panicking, thinking that this is the first time my family is getting a glimpse of like how messed up my head is. Because that was the thing, like I never reached out for help ever. I didn't think I needed it. I was always like a one woman show and that was it, and I can solve things on my own. um and so they put me on a mandatory hold, and that was the first time somebody suggested AA to me. Was a nurse at the hospital. she asked me, have I heard about AA? And I said, yeah, but isn't that like a God program? And I grew up a preacher's daughter. I stopped going to church by the time I was in high school. And she said, well, maybe try a meeting, but instead, replace God with a different word. And I said, yeah, okay. So time goes by, I get out, and I'm curious. I go to my first AA meeting. And as my home group here, I'm out of Little Rock, Arkansas. So I go to my first AA meeting, and everyone is so happy. And like, I'm still like, coming down from shit, and everyone's so happy and welcoming. And after the meeting, like I stayed for the whole time. And after the meeting, a couple of people approached me because they could, tell that I was new. And they asked what was I doing here. And I kind of panicked in my head, just like thinking of something to say of like, what do these people want to hear? So I just said, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. And this lady said, don't worry. If you get fired, God has another job for you. And I said, nope, AA is not for me. I'm not coming back. And that was it. I went back home, and I told myself, if I could not drink, because I still have this stereotypical like alcoholic in my head. So I was like, if I could not drink for 24 hours, I am fine. I really just was having a bad year. Things just aren't going my way. So I made it 24 hours, and I went back to my normal drinking. Less than 2 weeks later, I am drunk driving alone with my dog. And I go out into the Ouachita Mountains. My car breaks down, and long story short, search and rescue crew was called on me. That was the scariest time I've had so far in my life. And it wasn't just like me. That was kind of the first time. It wasn't just me I was affecting so many other people. All my family was called, friends were called, and I had this whole search and rescue crew, like 3 different counties came out just to look for me, this like drunk 20-something-year-old in the mountains. And so the day after I was rescued was when I went back into AA, and I was thinking that that was really when I could admit, like, I do have a problem. And so I got a sponsor, and, she asked me, like, is my life unmanageable? And I was offended when she asked me that. I was like, how dare you? I was like, I have a couple of bad, like, back-to-back stints, and you're going to ask me if my life's unmanageable. Like, things are hard, it could be worse. And she basically said, like, from what you've told me already, she's like, I think you need to get serious about this and figure out, like, what you want to do. And for a long time, the first few months of sobriety, were really hard. I was basically just making it by, going to as many meetings as possible, but I wasn't really working my program because I wasn't connecting with the other people. I wasn't doing much of like the assignments, the reading, and I was kind of crawling out of my own skin. But once I started talking to other women in the program, especially, and then I heard everyone talking about this conference called ARKYPAA, and I heard them talking about YPAWs, and me, I'm still that early sobriety state of mind where I could figure out everything on my own. I have no idea what a YPAW was, but I didn't want to ask. I just wanted to see out of context if I could pick out what it was. But I had everyone telling me I should go to ARKYPAA, go to ARKYPAA, go to ARKYPAA. And it was on, the mountain. And I was like, oh, well, I like camping, maybe I'll go, but like big groups aren't my thing. And, so like second week of October came around, and I still had these 2 women in the program just like begging me to go to ARKYPAA. And I was like, okay, I'll go, but I'm only going to go for one night because, I'm so busy. And y'all are talking about it's going to be so much fun. I can't spare any time to have fun, So I go and I clung to one person that I kind of knew. And then like 5 hours in, I had like, I don't know, 10, 15 new friends just like instantly. Um, and like I was getting to know people from Mississippi, like Missouri, a lot of people from Louisiana. And it just was so crazy to me that everyone there was sober. And just like walking around, like me in those environments, like I would go to camping festivals, music festivals, and I would just look over and expect to see somebody puking their guts out, you know. But like here at ARKYPAA, I would look over and just everyone's having a good time with just anybody who would walk by. And it was, you know, crazy. And I'd heard these things about, you know, you'll have a spiritual awakening at ARKYPAA and the fellowship is amazing. And, you know, I had these really high expectations. Um, and I was having like a really great time. And I was like, I loved that I got to meet new people and I kind of branched out. But when I was leaving, I was thinking, I was like, did I miss something? I was like, am I still not getting what, you know, AA is about, what, you know, the YPAWs are about? Like, I don't know. And so I was driving home alone in my car and I just started crying. And I don't cry like at all. And I just started crying in my car. I just got this overwhelming just sense of like that things, you know, are going to be okay. And I'm like here for a reason and I need to stick around and find out what's going on. And that feeling like was telling me to call my parents and let my parents know that like for the first time I feel like I'm going to be okay. I'm getting goosebumps right now talking about it. It really was like what I say now, what I think like I did have that spiritual awakening at ARKYPAA. And after that, like I asked my sponsor, you know, what's this ARKYPAA committee about? How can I get on? And I got on the committee and I mean, it's just been great ever since. And I just love meeting other new people who come to the YPAWs. And they're always talking about it. It's like something people look forward to. Like, you know, we're on the committee, you know, I'm on the committee now. Like I see it, we start planning a year in advance. But like everyone, like all these younger people I meet, like around here and through other Zooms, and when I travel out of state, like they talk about how they can't wait to go to the next YPAW. And that is so crazy to me. It just like really is this whole scene of people, you know, it's just like having this opportunity to find other young people, where you're in this safe space and you just want to like stay sober and have a good time because like that's when I realized that, you know, my life has some like meaning to it and I don't need to just like dismiss everything that AA has given me, because there'd been a couple of times in sobriety where I was just ready to just give up and call it quits because, you know, like I had a bad day. But then like I have all these people in this community who bring me back to reality that like things get better. And you have all these other people who, you know, feel the same way and have been through what you've been through. And so now like, you know, today again, like over a year and a half sober, I tell my sponsee, like, you know, when you're having those bad days, find somebody who has, you know, 1 day of sobriety. You have 2 days of sobriety, you can help somebody with 1 day. And it's totally the other way around too. Like somebody with 1 day always helps me with my 1.5 years, every meeting I go to. And so it's important, like for me, like I make sure like I'm always spreading the word about ARKYPAA and other YPAWs. And I am lucky that I have all these contacts to where, you know, if I can't make it to Tiki Paw, like I know somebody who's going. You can catch a ride with them, you know. And so it's just brought, and like ARKYPAW's coming up second weekend of October, 12th through the 15th. Let's fucking get it. Like I'm So excited. And I'm excited I'm gonna be there the whole time now, not just like show up grumpy and then like and then leave and cry in the car. But like I'm excited and just I don't know, just seeing other people just get so pumped about this, and like some of the old timers who've been coming since this is like the 39th year. They've been coming since it started. So it's just crazy, and like crazy in a good way, crazy in a grateful way, crazy in a how did I get here from a search and rescue? Like it's just so it's just wild to me. And it's probably like the top of like every time I do a gratitude list, um YPAWs and ARKYPAAs are like always tend to make their way to the top of the gratitude list. And it's just I don't know. I mean, I never, I had a plan for my life, didn't turn out anything like this, and I'm thankful for it. Um, and I think that's time, right? Did I speak long enough?
Yeah, Mikayla, you did a great job. Did you
Thank you.
have like a landing pad topic you kind of wanted to throw out tonight?
So,
If not,
so I do. I don't have a reading, but can I would love if we could talk about what chapters. It's called Working with Others. So it's a lot about into fellowshipping and sponsorship and stuff. Um, can that be considered a topic?
yeah,